Orleans metro area local leaders are warning residents to take this heat seriously.
The Orleans coroner has handled 6 heat-related deaths so far, and as David Jones reports, both Acadian Ambulance and New Orleans EMS have seen a spike in heat-related service calls.
This is really something that we've never seen before.
Across the metro area,
we feel the heat.
An unprecedented heat wave.
Every summer we see an increase in calls. This year it has increased compared to last year.
Chuck Benedict with Acadian Ambulance says EMTs and paramedics have handled a noticeable uptick in heat-related calls.
These patients could also experience other primary complaints such as altered mental status, unresponsiveness, shortness of breath. Preventative is the best key, right? Not trying to push yourself, hydrating early, even before, if you're working outdoors, before you start that work.
Benedict says knowing the signs of heat exhaustion versus heat stroke is critical and can save you a trip in an ambulance.
We really start getting worried into like heat stroke type symptoms when that patient starts having any type of altered mental status.
Even though it's generally hot in New Orleans in the summer, it's nothing like this.
Dr. Jennifer Avegno is the director of the New Orleans Health Department.
Your body simply does not get the opportunity to cool down in a way that is really safe for functioning.
Avegno says small children, senior citizens, pets, and folks who are on chronic medication are most at risk as temperatures continue to top triple-digit highs.
It does not take long if you are exerting yourself outside. Exercising at the early part of the day or later in the evening is safer. It's still pretty hot out there. And, just be smart. Make sure you're drinking more water than you normally do.
It's terrible. I can't go in the tent until after dark.
And for the unhoused population in New Orleans, including Kenneth, the temperatures inside tents can be sweltering.
Once the daylight starts coming up, I got to come out of the tent because it's like an oven in there.
And they are incredibly vulnerable.
Avegno says the city has handed out more than 2,000 water bottles as of Tuesday, and rec centers citywide have become cooling centers.
It's such a blessing.
New Orleans EMS reports the monthly average for heat-related calls has jumped to 100 versus 25. The city says it has pre-designated several NORD sites, that's New Orleans recreation sites, with generators in case of any potential storm impact, and is requiring senior living facilities to check in daily. Lauren?